Hey guys, welcome to Midwest Fantasy Football Week 15, Championship Week. In semifinal number 1, Jason's The Hammock District takes down number 1 overall seed Chris's Brown-Eyed Monster, 129 to 109. J Money had DeAndre Hopkins, 37 points to assist with the win here, going off for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns for his best game of the season. Great time to have it. Also, Jason opted to start Damian Williams on Thursday Night Football after Spencer Ware was out, and he got 27.3 points on 150 all-purpose yards and another 2 touchdowns. Williams ended up being an excellent waiver wire pickup for you last week. For Chris, he got 21.8 points from Alvin Kamara on Monday Night Football, and a pair of 17-point games from David Johnson and Julio Jones. You got poor games from Eric Ebron, who only got you 1.3 points, and Patrick Lindsay with 6.4 points that really hurt you and probably led to your loss. For Chris, this is the second season in a row of a dominant regular season and then falling just short of the long sought-after championship.
And this is where I put a trophy. If I had one! Sorry, what's the happy?
In semifinal number 2, Drew's Undercooked Burger knocks off Nick's Duchess of T-Bjork, 103.2 to 91.4. And I am personally glad that this is the last time I have to say Duchess of T-Bjork. It's been quite the tongue twister this season. Drew got the win on the strength of Dalvin Cook's best game of the season, putting up 31.8 points in the blowout over Miami. Also, Christian McCaffrey added in 22 points on a crazy 67-53-50 receiving, rushing, passing yardage kind of night, along with a touchdown pass. Pretty odd stats from your running back, that's for sure. Nick's squad was led by 22 points from Kaimi Fairbairn, 20.3 points from Atlanta's defense. You could probably drop the blame for this loss in any one of 3 spots. Austin Hooper putting up a goose egg in a game where Atlanta scored 40 points. Lamar Miller getting hurt after only getting 8 rushing yards. And then opting to cut Russell Wilson a couple weeks ago and keeping Andrew Luck, which was a 10-point difference this week alone. Looks like the coach and the QB need to get on the same page here.
After all the goddamn shenanigans you pulled last season, you should be thanking God you're still in goddamn uniform, goddammit!
Over in the deuce bracket, on deuce semifinal number 1, Josh's I Win Cause Y'all Drafted knocks Lee's I Want Some Butts into the deuce bowl, 101.5 to 83. For Josh, Chris Carson put up 26.8 points, and Kenny Dolladay added in 21. Lee got 17.9 points from Devontae Adams, 13.5 from Aaron Rodgers, and 12.8 from Robert Woods. The running back position was the deciding factor in this game, as Josh's starting duo of Chris Carson and Jalen Richard outscored Lee's starting duo of Josh Adams and Adrian Peterson by 18 points, almost the exact margin of this game. Over in deuce semifinal number 2, Brandon's once-in-a-generational squad boots Pope 1.0 into the deuce bowl, 106.1 to 88.9. Marlon Mack led Brandon's squad this week with 28.4 points. Tennessee kicked in 19.7, and Patrick Mahomes added in 18 as well. Pope 1 had the highest scoring individual performance in this matchup, getting 32.75 points from Derrick Henry and 19 points from Mitchell Trubisky. But the injury bug really hurt you here, losing Keenan Allen with no catches early in the Thursday night game, and then losing Aaron Jones after only getting 8 yards in Green Bay's Sunday loss to the Bears.
Go Packers and the Bears.
The championship.
So we go to the ship, right?
Yeah, we could.
Man, we going to the ship.
We going to the ship. What? 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 We going to the ship.
When I sat down to look at the championship match, I couldn't help but notice how evenly matched these two teams actually are, with a small catch. Here's a comparison of the QB, running back, wide receiver, and tight end position for both of these teams. Drew appears to have a slight edge at quarterback, only a point or 2 per game, and a significant edge at wide receiver with Jason's loss of Emmanuel Sanders for the season. Jason more than makes up for that advantage at the tight end spot, almost a 100-point advantage, and then running back is almost a dead heat between the top 2 running backs for both of these squads. For Jay, with Sanders out, he's going to need to swap in Josh Gordon for the matchup this weekend. We'll see if Gordon can ball out this week. That leaves the flex position as the possible matchup of Damian Williams for Jay versus Drew's Dalvin Cook. Both guys who had huge games this last week. On paper, it looks like Dalvin Cook, but if Damian Williams has a game anywhere near like he did last week, who knows what could happen. When I looked at these numbers today, these were the matchups as projected when I sat down to do this video and take my notes earlier this day. Yahoo is currently projecting that Drew will get the win here by less than a point. Unfortunately for Jay, Fantasy Pros really likes Drew's squad by a comfortable 11-point margin. We'll see if either of those sites prove to be correct. In terms of previous matchups, Jay is 1-0 previously in the playoffs versus Drew, but Drew has a commanding 6-2 advantage for regular season play. Jay's one win over Drew in the playoffs was in 2014 in a 5th place game, so probably not a game that anybody was really looking that closely at, so take it for what it's worth. The 3rd place game, it's the game that nobody wants to be in, probably even less than the Deuce Bowl. Chris versus Nick. I'm not even going to talk about this because I already know, and so does Nick, that Chris is going to win handily, and Nick will resume right back up with his second, fourth, alternating pattern after his one bad deuce year. He's scheduled for a 4th place this year. The Deuce Bowl. Ah, yes. The Disappointment Bowl. Both of these teams, nobody wanted to be here, and I happened to notice then something in a common pattern when I was actually sitting down and looking at this matchup. Both of these teams heavily feature NFC North players in a year where the division sucks so much that the Bears actually won it. For Pope 1.0, he's either going to be starting Chicago Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky or Minnesota quarterback Kirk Cousins. At running back, Scott owns both Kerryon Johnson and Green Bay's Aaron Jones. Kerryon Johnson, I don't know if Scott's going to sub him in or not. Aaron Jones is now on IR, so I'm sure he's not going to be playing him. And then Scott also is starting Minnesota's Stephon Diggs. For Lee, he'll be trotting out Aaron Rodgers, of course, provided that he doesn't get benched before the weekend. Green Bay's wide receiver Devontae Adams, Minnesota's wide receiver Adam Thielen, and Chicago Bears tight end Trey Burton. Yahoo really favors Lee in this matchup, liking Lee's squad by 9 points. However, Fantasy Pros really thinks this is pretty much going to be a dead heat, with Pope 1.0 favored right now at 105.5 to 105.4, just a 1/10 of a point matchup. In terms of the wager corner, let me know if you're interested in doing another potato DFS in Week 17. We did that last year. I'm not committing to that yet. This is just a gauging interest, so let me know if you're interested in doing that again. Also, if anybody wants to gamble on either the championship or the Deuce Bowl, I'd be happy to maybe throw some wagers down on either of these matchups, maybe for a 6-pack, depending on spread, of course. And a small note, I will not accept any wagers from anyone currently playing in the championship game or in the Deuce Bowl. I don't want anybody to affect anything. Nick's stat corner. Nick didn't have a lot of time today, so he only had a couple things he threw my way. This is the 3rd time that the 2 and the 5 seeds have met in the championship, and the 1 seed continues to struggle in the playoffs, now having made the playoffs only one time, which was last year, which was Chris. The 1 seed generally struggles and loses their first game in the playoffs for some reason. Good luck to the 6 teams still playing this weekend. To the 2 teams who are now safe, Josh and Brandon, your teams have been locked, so you're not going to be able to pick anybody up tomorrow. And then we will see you next week when we have a new MFFL champion and the first ever double deuce. Good luck.
May God have mercy on us all.